We are just after the debate. It is Thursday, October 22nd, 10:45 in the evening. They just got done with the debate. How do you feel? Do you need a deep breath? Do you need to
You know what, man?
recharge or what?
Can I be 100 with you, like all the way 100? It's like
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this whole election season has been the most, I would say, boring in the sense of what they're talking
Really?
about. I see what they're
Oh yeah,
talking
as far
about.
as policy,
That
there's a lot
the
of policy.
antics is all about ratings and TV. But this is horrible. This has been horrible because they talk
Mostly it's
more
been
about.
from one side though, don't you think?
No, I would say both because
Okay, okay.
they talk about each other so much. They're not
Yes.
letting me know what they're going to do to help me.
Nope.
Um,
But
and
didn't
one
you think that
thing,
this debate had more substance to it and some more policy about it? Even from
yeah,
Trump gave us just a little bit.
yeah, the substance, in my opinion, was really about each other. Making them speak out about the accusations about one another.
Sure,
But
sure.
when it came down to me personally, I didn't hear what they're going to do for me. Enough of what they're going to do for me.
No, no
Nothing.
mention of taxes. There wasn't mention of. I wish
No,
Biden would have defended his taxes. He didn't do that.
yeah,
Trump mentioned that at the end, but
it's just frustrating, And then when they talked about, and they brought up, of course, the race issue again. This is what I'm tired of hearing about from both sides of the aisle. I understand why they say it. They talk about police reform. They
hmm
talk about criminal justice reform. They talk about, all these things for people really that don't affect me truthfully. I'm not in that category. What are you going to do for that middle class black guy at work that's out there trying to make a living with
hmm
jobs, trying to find the right job or get the right amount of income, the right amount of money in your pocket?
Yep.
Um,
Well,
that's what I'm talking. That's what I want to hear.
I think that
So
Biden tried to do that just a little bit as far as talking about. He did start to talk about wealth and things. I think if you want
yeah, for the
specifics, you're going
minimum
to have to
wage
go to
thing,
people's websites and find it.
right?
But
The
at least he
minimum
did
wage.
mention that he does have plans. At least he did
Well,
mention
yeah,
that he does have
he
plans.
did. He mentioned his plans. I didn't hear not one plan from Trump. He didn't describe his plans.
Nope, no, not at
Biden
all.
did explain his plan.
That's
That's why
not
I said it's
surprising.
it's not a lot of it's not a like I said, it's not a lot for the every average day middle. He Biden talked to middle class America,
hmm
but he didn't address what he's going to do for middle class America. He
No,
mentioned about the Medicaid, and he mentioned about Social Security, something I'll be looking at in the next
hmm
15 years. But
I thought that he
me
was kind of
personally,
on the defensive because he, like you said, he's kind of forced to answer the accusations against him.
yeah, well, that's the whole thing that made this whole election. It made the election good because it was good to hear politicians hold another politician accountable to
Okay.
speak out. But the thing about it that also, where are these answers coming from? If Trump mentions this stuff about Hunter Biden, about Biden and the money the family's getting, from what resource? Give me something I could go look this up at. Um,
Well, there was a lot of dubious claims. Now, the debate was much better than whatever we saw several weeks ago.
right,
The moderator did a much better job as far as getting control of things. I think that the both campaigns were better prepared. The candidates were more prepared. Is
right.
so we actually got response. We actually got back and forth. That being said, there was more dubious. There was a lot of dubious claims by Trump, even though he wasn't yelling and he wasn't interrupting Biden. There was a lot of like, what? What? I mean, I
Right.
have a whole thing of notes here, but it's like,
Yeah, the
huh?
whats are because there was nothing behind it.
He was
You
just
bring
talking
up an
about like small
accusation,
windows at one point, and
but if you
uh,
bring up an accusation, you got to expand on the accusation. You can't just say, like they were talking about that laptop, that one laptop that the FBI and CIA said was basically Russian interference in that. Well, if that's somewhat factual, aware of what they're saying about it as being Russian interference,
mhm,
why are you still bringing that up? So
mhm,
it's almost like you bring it up to make it a point. Now, when he turned it back on Trump about things he's doing, he never really let him explain it. Like we were talking about the banks. He may mention about the bank situation, but what about the other businesses he has with all these different foreign entities? They weren't
Yeah, I
brought
mean
up. He didn't allow
he
him to talk
mentioned
about
that,
it.
but
But
it
I'm
really
glad he
wasn't gone
defended the bank
into.
thing. Trump did good defending the bank thing. If he says he closed it up before he was president, that debunks whatever this talk about that Chinese bank. That squashes that now.
Yeah,
If he told the truth.
if that's the case, we'll
If he
see.
told the
We'll see, I
truth.
guess.
So, and that's the thing. That's the sad thing about it with Trump is that he has lied so much. You have to say, well, I hope he's telling the truth.
Well,
You should be able to defend yourself, and we roll with it. But we have to question even his truth because we don't know if he's telling the truth.
exactly. I mean, and Biden had a really good line as far as like, this is about character. This is about character elections.
I agree with that.
You know who we are, and
Right.
you know his record, and you know my record, and you know
Right.
what he has said. Do you trust him? I wrote down at the beginning of this. It's like, who do you trust? Who
Yeah.
can you trust? And Um, do we trust Trump? Is he because he's given all this fiction? He's given us sort of like things will be better, but he's not
Right.
giving us specifics. Okay.
I don't trust neither one of them. I gotta be I can be honest with that.
You don't trust
I don't
Biden?
I don't trust
You don't find him credible? Huh.
like I said, the only thing about Biden right now, the only reason why I'm picking Biden because I feel he has more people at the table that represent me.
Okay.
That's on that's in Congress that will hold him accountable. That's the only reason why. I mean,
He does
I
have a
will
lot of
always
people
vote.
around him that will hold him accountable, beginning with his vice president
Yeah,
if he's
Kamala Harris,
elected.
but he has enough people in Congress that's going to keep him accountable. He
Hmm.
can't do well. One thing I was glad he said was he made a mistake
I'm
with the
glad he said that
primary.
as well. I'm glad he said that. Yeah,
I'm
I made
glad
a
he said
mistake
it.
with that.
I
Hmm.
because I've heard him say it before, but the issue even with that is it goes again. What I've always said was in the night. Oh, I got us repeating right here on this video right there. I didn't mean to do that, but he with Biden, I put him in the category of most men, like I said before, that's in
Hmm.
their 70s that grew up in the era that he grew up in.
Hmm.
That's how they think.
Well, I think,
That's how they were thinking back then.
yep, yep.
So if that's
That
the
is really
case,
correct.
if that's the case, why do we keep putting these people in office?
Well, that goes back for me to the primaries. Like, well, of all the people that we had on stage, Biden, I was like, really? But okay, here we are. This is what we
Yeah,
got.
this is what we got.
I think we're going to see a different presidency if Biden is elected
Yeah.
than we saw under Obama Biden. And Trump always goes back to what Obama Biden did. And I think it's going to be different, though. It's going to be different because there's new plans in, and he has moved to the left. He has
But
moved to more progressive policies because he had pressure to do so.
why is it? Why would it be different?
Why? Because
Biden mentioned it.
he's had more
He
progressive
mentioned it.
policies.
No, but he mentioned it today. He mentioned why
But
it
he
would be
mentioned that he
different.
made a mistake
No. Hold up,
in
hold up.
previously, but
Trump said, "Why didn't you do it in 8 years? Why
right.
didn't you do these changes?" What did Biden say?
Biden said immediately because there was a Republican Congress, and I'm glad he said
Republican
that.
Congress.
I'm
He
glad he
had no
said that.
power. He had no power in there. So if you have a Republican Senate and Republican Congress,
That's
especially
true,
the
by
last
the way.
years, you can't. There's going to be you're not going to be able to just like right now. He can't pass the laws he want to pass. Trump can't get rid of Obamacare right away. He has to still go through Congress. He can't do it.
Hmm.
It's going to be a fight. All these is this. That's what's our political parties, the Congress and the Senate, in my opinion, should be somewhat balanced. If you have
A lot of people say that, but then don't you think that just nothing even less gets done? I mean, Congress every year, if you track this, every year Congress does less and less and less, and it doesn't matter. Like Trump had 2 years of a Republican controlled Congress in both houses. Obama had the same thing at the start of his election. They could have done much more. Both of them could have done much more. And I'm glad that Biden did go to that. So where's the infrastructure bill? Where's this health care bill that you said for 3 years is going to come? It's going to come. You said it was going to come this summer, and he has nothing on paper about his health care bill.
well, the health care bill, I think it's so wrapped up the way that bill is written. It's like booby trapped. No matter it is. Really, Obama had to make that. Obama knew what they knew what he was getting into. He knew that to do that health care bill, the position he was going to be put into, because it can be easily overturned if it was something simple. It
Okay.
had to have catches in it. And
Hmm.
that's what he did. He made no matter what president changes that bill, it's going to come with something that's going to make that president looks bad. And Trump has struggled changing that bill. He looks bad because he can't get a healthcare bill done. It was purposely designed that way to cause havoc for whoever changes it. Now
Hmm.
we know that everything in it wasn't right, but it's going to be hard to change it because of the pre-existing conditions and to allow everyone to have affordable health care.
Okay, I
Now,
see. I see what you're
affordable
saying. Yeah, I mean, it's going to
affordable
be
affordable is a word that we mix up. So if you say affordable, that doesn't mean it's going to be cheap. Affordable means
affordable for who?
the income that you make, you should be able to afford the health care. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be expensive for some households, but it's according to your income, to how
Yes.
much you make. But also, you kept your private health care. That was that you didn't lose your private health care unless you chose to lose it. You didn't just lose it. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I went off there for a minute because people get
I
those that mixed up. They
so
mix
I think I
terms.
understand what you're saying is that we had these things like pre-existing conditions, staying on your parents' health care insurance until you're 26 is going to be hard to get rid of the more that we have them, and that we've had them now for what 8 years
But if you get
at
rid of it,
least.
what happens? You cause havoc.
Yes, you cause havoc, and people aren't going to like havoc. So he's
Exactly.
forced to try and keep the pre-existing conditions. Even Trump has said, "I'm not going to do away with pre-existing conditions. Not going to do away with pre-existing conditions." I
Well,
think that, you know, uh, I think the strategy going in tonight for Trump was to try and let Biden talk more and to see if it backfired. And when it didn't, you saw that about halfway through the debate, maybe a third of the way through the debate, he started getting more feisty and he started
yeah.
interrupting a little bit more. He started getting a little more agitated, and he had more statements that were just like, really? Where did that come from out of left field? Um,
Biden
there's,
got confused too a little bit because he
I
started to
mean,
stutter a little more.
it's what's that?
Biden got a
Biden
little,
what?
he got a little stumbled at times.
He got a little stumble at times. I think he
Started
did
stuttering
well
and everything.
in responding. There was a few things, especially at the end of the debate. Maybe got tired, mentally tired, or something that I think he kind of stumbled over. But I'm so tired of sort of the Trump lines of like, well, I've done more than anybody since Abraham Lincoln. I mean, that's ridiculous. I'm the least racist person in the room. All of this sort of
Yeah,
wild statements, and that just
yeah.
kind of turns me off. And
He,
here
I'm sorry.
here's the thing for me. Uh, do you remember what Trump was impeached for? It was not even a year ago.
Russian collusion.
No, for talking to the Ukrainians
Okay, yeah, that's
about trying to get dirt on Biden.
third on Biden. Yeah, my fault.
That's why he was impeached.
Well, that's
Was there
still
there
considered
was
collusion.
there was like a 10-second mention of that tonight.
Yeah,
I'm glad that at least we got some of what the record of a 4-year record, not just this past year, but you remember the Muslim ban,
yeah,
okay? You remember when he started when he said Mexicans are rapists
yeah,
and this and that. This is his record. This
yeah,
is his record,
yeah.
and
I agree with
I'm
that.
glad there was mention of that.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I totally agree with that. And I think through all that, with all that out there like that coming out, it's still not gonna. This wasn't in the election to change anyone's mind. This election here was to convince those who have a moral compass, who have a moral character. Where do you stand at?
hmm.
Now, the thing about it, though, when you look at these two guys, both of them fall short in that area over their history. Their history.
Okay.
That's why it always goes back for me about accountability. You've heard me mention this over the years. So when it comes down to character, who has the support system around them that's going to keep them accountable because their character has been so damaged because of the policies or the things that they've said? Who's going to keep them accountable? I don't see anybody in Trump's camp that's going to keep him accountable, because even the ones that he likes,
Hmm.
and they say anything, they check him or keep him accountable, he falls out with them. So if you can't have anybody come up to you and put you in check, you have no room to grow. To me,
Yeah.
his growth was in his first 2 years. He grew into his role a little bit. When I say he grew
Hmm.
into his role, when I listen to what I'm saying, when I say he grew into his role, I don't think he really wanted to be president, number one, but he had to roll into that position. What what started to falter with him was when he lost to Congress. When he lost
Okay.
to Congress, he had to fight now. He didn't have to fight at first. When he was able to roll up into that position, he had the support he needed. He didn't have
Okay.
to fight anybody. After
Interesting.
2018, he now had to fight. He had to defend every statement because they were coming at him, because they could hold him up with Congress.
I think that's true. But I think right from the beginning, he was in a defensive, combative posture. He called the
Oh
press
yeah,
the enemy of the state. His very first day in office, he was pissed off that the news reported his numbers for the inauguration were down, and he had an hour long press conference with Sean Spicer, and
that's ego,
he's
man.
all
That's
mad about how people are saying that he had less crowd than Obama did. It's like that is so childish.
but that's ego. That's all about ego. It has nothing
It's
to
all
do with
about
running
ego.
running the country part. He had Congress and the Senate, is what I'm saying. He was able to do
I
things,
I just don't
that
think he
first
did
year and a half.
anything. What did he
No, no,
do?
no. This is what I'm not saying. He didn't have to fight, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Okay.
When you have to fight, you make mistakes. You say more stupid stuff, because he's not only does he have an ego problem, but he has to now battle when people are bringing truth to him, which Congress has been doing.
Well, that's certainly true. Yeah.
The
You're right.
first
I
year and
think
a
you're
half,
right.
like I said, the
Mhm.
first year and a half, he didn't have to worry about that. So
Mhm.
what? He gets mad about a crowd size. That's ego.
Mhm.
That's kiddie stuff. But it's the things that we didn't like. The Muslim ban couldn't have happened later. That happened during the first year and a half.
That happened like in the
Well, that's what I'm
first
saying. It
month and a
happened
half.
when he had Congress.
Mhm.
That wouldn't have happened if he had the current Congress.
Mhm.
There would have been a some pushback.
And
Those are the things I'm saying.
I'm glad that they went to the immigration a little bit. And the one question that didn't get answered that I wish Biden would have fought back on is who built those cages? Yeah, it might have been Obama that built the cages, but Trump used the cages.
Well,
Trump is the one that used them.
Obama
Trump
did,
had a stated policy in Homeland Security as to try and dissuade people from coming into this country
right,
to separate children from their parents. That was a stated policy.
but Obama used
Okay,
those pictures was from Obama's administration.
some of them, yeah.
So what? How did that take place? What was the purpose? What was that?
Hey,
What was going on?
hey, Obama deported a lot of people, and I don't necessarily agree with that, but it was a stated policy of Trump's to separate children from their parents.
Yeah, I agree.
That was not,
I'm with that. But
that
what I'm
might have been
saying is
part of
that
the law and part of what he's saying. Well, I changed the law, this and that, or I enforced the law that was in place um, already. They didn't enforce that law of separating kids from parents.
no, um, the Obama administration did some. They didn't. They did. I don't. As far as I understand, they didn't create any new immigration laws to make it where they had to deport. They just deported more people.
Yes,
Trump's administration put in policies to separate the families.
yes.
The whole, again, it goes back to mentality of who's leading the country. These laws are already in place like that. A lot of
And
these things are already there.
they're actively working against DACA, against the Dreamers.
So
They're actively doing that. They're actively in court right now trying to repeal, 2 weeks before the election, actively repeal the Affordable Care Act, which would take away pre existing coverage, even at
so
the same time when they say that they're trying to do something about it. So,
so that means that the new Supreme Court justice will go ahead. You think they're going to go? I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're going to repeal it. I don't think they're going to change it. Only thing that's going to be different is going to be a plan similar to Obama, so he can just take his name off of it. That's all it's going to be, in my opinion, because that's what it's all about, taking the name off of it.
You think?
I've always asked everybody this all the time. When has your health care ever went down? It never. It always goes up.
Okay.
People say they want to be able to choose their own. When have you not been able to choose your own health care? Healthcare always been
Plenty
up.
of times. If your doctor's not in the network, or if it's not covered, if this treatment's not covered, or this
That's not
piece of
because
if this medicine isn't covered.
most of the time it's through your job, though. That's your job doing that. I mean, it's
Yes.
jobs that I've had where I had to choose a certain health, but you could choose several plans in your healthcare plan. If you want to choose your own doctors, most of the time you got to pay more healthcare. You got to pay more deductible. If you have a network plan, you pay less in your deductible. That's every job I've had.
Okay.
Let me tell you,
Uh,
I was just thinking about this today about healthcare. When Obama was in office, we were in Cleveland. We lived in Cleveland, Ohio.
okay.
My health care was great. When I had my health care, what I'm saying is that even like I have sleep apnea. To give you this to being transparent, I have sleep apnea. I had to go to Cleveland Clinic to do a sleep test.
Mm-hmm.
The sleep test was part of my plan. I didn't have to pay for that. I took my sleep test. I paid a $35 deductible, whatever it was, the copay for my sleep test overnight. I come to Texas, 2017. Trump took the mandate out. When was that? 2017 was the first thing he took out? Or was it 2018? The individual mandate.
I'd have to look
It
it up.
changed some, whatever it was, it changed some stuff with healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
I know it goes by the state. Texas wanted me to pay $500 to do that sleep test.
Okay.
$500.
Okay.
I called Cleveland Clinic. They said after 5 years, you should just get a new machine. You could just walk in and just get a new machine and bring it home.
Okay.
Texas, the doctor says, go take the sleep test.
Again.
$500. But what I'm saying is there's a law saying after 5 years, you don't have to do that. But they're saying, no, you have to go take the sleep test again. So what I'm saying is that me and my wife both will tell you that my health care in the last 3 years since I've been here have sucked. It has sucked with I'm talking about, dude, I have never seen the high deductibles that we have. Everything is a la carte. Everything. I go to the doctor, it's like, okay, you got to go to this doctor over here. You got to fill all this paperwork all over again. It's like money out the butt, dude.
Interesting.
That I've never experienced. That's been in the last 3 years. When I
Okay.
was in Ohio, it wasn't like that. I literally stopped going to the doctor because of the fact I couldn't keep paying. Since in the last 3 years.
Okay.
And we have a major health insurance, major company health insurance. But I'm struggling with the current the way healthcare is right now. And I think it's mainly by the state, though. And I think that because we're living in Texas, Republican state, it's almost like they're making it hard on purpose because of the Affordable Care Act, the way the healthcare laws are. So I don't know what it is, but the cost is much higher now than it was when I was in Ohio under Obama, the straight Obamacare.
So did you actually have a plan because of the ACA when you were in Ohio?
It went through the job.
It went through your job. Okay.
Paying through the job. But
You said that. I'm sorry. It's
But
like,
I know that even when you have a company plan, there's still some changes because of
yes,
whatever
there is that you can make. Yeah.
overall healthcare plan does. I'm not sure exactly what all that is, but I just know that my healthcare was much better. Now, I'm not sure if it was because of the state I'm living in, it changes. But down here, I've never paid this much in a deductible in my life, man.
Interesting.
It's crazy.
So if you are out there right now with us, you can welcome to make a comment. What did you think of the debate? Who won the debate? How did the debate go? What are your thoughts? What are your specific issues, or what is your passion in this election? Is there an issue that you are burning about that's determining this election, or is it just a whole list of things? I mean, I think that, Trump seems to be really wanted to talk about fracking. Now, to me, fracking isn't necessarily a good thing. When did fracking become a good thing? Fracking is bad for the environment. It releases
Yeah,
chemicals. It strips the land down. It causes earthquakes in local areas. So I'm not sure why all of a sudden like both candidates are like, oh yeah, I'm for fracking. Fracking's okay. Yeah, fracking's good.
but it's
I'm
the
like, well, wait a minute here. What do you?
it's the business people, man. It's the money, right?
Yes. I mean, I'm glad that Biden came out strongly in support of more environmentally friendly policies and talking about investing in green energy. It was probably the strongest I've heard him talk about green energy as far as like transitioning from oil, from fossil fuels. He talked about how investing in green energy would create jobs. I like all that stuff.
Right.
So
Mm-hmm.
I was glad to hear that from Biden. Now, a lot of people in the middle or right of that might disagree with all that, but I'm pretty progressive in the green energy area, so
Man, I
I
don't know,
am.
dude. I'm not. I really want to see what this is going to look like. Um, year two of this the next administration.
Okay.
Year one is going to be a bunch of trying to do a lot of things to make the people happy. Year two is going to show where that person really stands. It's going to show a lot about who they really are on the inside. Our country needs a lot of healing right now. So I think both presidents are going to try to bring things in to heal the country. It's
I,
going to be
I I just can't see that Trump is a uniter.
he don't have a choice right now. He's under the fire with a lot of stuff. He knows he's under the fire. He knows he has issues with race issues. He knows he has issues with the healthcare plan. He has issues with this all the divisive type of conversations he's had, the tweets, the posts.
Do
I
you
think
think that he
I think
can
that's
that
gonna
he can bring the country together if he's elected?
I didn't say he was going to bring it together. I said there will be an attempt. He's already
Okay.
caused damage with his followers already in a lot of
Okay.
ways. I'm not saying all his followers. Please don't people get out there and say LaMarr said, because
Mm-hmm.
LaMarr is saying that some of his followers, who are the radical followers that he have, they're stuck in their mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you have people who are stuck on Biden's side that are radical, because of the Democratic Party that are people that are progressive. But I think they're both going to try to make some changes right away.
I'm looking at my notes to find where race relations was.
And I
Here it
hate
is. Okay.
talk about the
Yeah,
race.
he said so. Here's Trump when asked, um, do you understand why these parents fear for their children? Speaking about African American families.
He can't
And
talk much.
Biden answered that first in the affirmative. And then amazingly, Trump said, quote, yes, I do, that he understands them. And I was just like, really? Seriously? You do? You understand them?
See,
Because
Biden.
given opportunities the last several years to address this, you have gone on the but um, and said something else.
When she mentioned that, when Biden mentioned that same area, he mentioned about the football players that he criticized, you know, the Muslim ban. They didn't allow Trump to really expand on his answer for that stuff. They
He
kind of
called
glossed.
NFL players SOBs.
What I'm saying is when Biden mentioned it, they didn't give Trump a. He didn't address that. I would have been like, okay, no, let's address this. Why did you say that? They didn't come back and they let it just
No, they didn't come back to that.
go
And
by.
Trump, I
He
think,
didn't,
pivoted to something else,
but then even when
talking
Biden,
about he went immediate. Oh, I know what he did. He went immediately to the crime bill.
yeah, the
He
crime bill.
pivoted to the crime bill and
Right,
went back on Biden. So,
right. So when you look at Biden, when he mentioned it, when he started giving these examples about his daughter working as a social worker,
hmm
um, I think he would have been better off if he had gave some stories or said, I met these families who did this. That's what I want to hear. I want to know if you say
hmm.
you understand. If you say you understand, how do you understand? What is your what do we always talk about? Your circle of
Well,
peers. How
per.
do you know this is real? How do
Mhm.
you know it's real in these people's lives?
Yep.
You're telling me what your daughter said or what your daughter did.
hmm
What has your relationships been like? That impacts.
Personal stories are powerful. You could spout facts and figures and opinions, But if you start with a story and say, "Let me tell you something about somebody I met," that
Right.
gets people's attention.
I mean, yeah,
People tune in for that.
because it's real. Everyone can relate
It's
to the
authentic.
story.
Hmm.
When the examples he gave are in general examples, but if you tell me, the lady that I grew up with, or one of my staff members in my office, this is
Uh-huh.
what they experienced.
Yeah.
That's real, and it's like you can't deny someone's truth. But if you give out a in general statement,
It's
you can do it. Anybody can do it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
To make yourself look good, you can put out a general statement.
Hmm.
Trump can't do that. He's not going to do that. Biden had the opportunity to do that because he started the conversation saying, "My daughter who works with this," and that's what. Let me give you some other. Let me give you another example to give you exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
So there's this diversity panel that I was viewing, right?
Okay.
This panel about diversity, and so everyone was given examples of, and these were majority um, Caucasian people given their examples of how they've been impacted or want to have diversity and inclusion and why is it important to them.
Hmm.
Everyone gave their example of someone that, and these were selected panelists purposely to have this conversation, but it
Okay.
was more so these personal stories. This one guy talked about his daughter who was in the military and how the whole testimony was about her battle of diversity and inclusion.
Hmm.
It wasn't about himself. When you have your own personal experiences, it changes your mindset and the way you think about things. When you give somebody else's example, that doesn't change you. It changed that person.
Okay.
You can give the testimony about how they changed, but it doesn't change. I'm not saying you weren't changed. Let me take it back. I'm not saying the guy wasn't changed, but the story isn't authentic enough
Hmm.
if it's not about your personal experience. That's what was missing. And when he said it, you felt it in the crowd. It was like, because you took the light off of you and you put it over here. And that's what the light should have been on you. That's what was important. And that's what Biden did today. He took it off of himself and put it on his daughter, in my opinion. If that makes sense.
No, it
It
makes
makes
sense.
perfect
That's
sense.
good insights. That's good. It did feel like he didn't connect as well as he did last time, and couldn't put my finger on it exactly what that is. And I think you hit on it, um, at least in part. That's wise because he didn't include personal stories. It wasn't including himself.
You have to.
Um,
That's his character of being empathetic. You don't expect that from Trump. You don't expect it from him. If it is, it's gonna be, well, my friend, this, who likes me a lot, my very good friend. But he
mhm.
never gives a name. But you don't have to in this situation. But it's
Do you
never
think
gonna be personal.
you mentioned the age of the candidates before? Do you think the age is a reason for that? Is because there's 70
Yep.
plus white men.
Yep. That's what the
If they'd
situation
been
is
if
about.
they were 40, 45, 50, maybe they would have had maybe more experiences with diversity, more experiences with these kinds of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mindset. It's how you grew up, and I mean, you can see it. You see it in the conversation every time they speak. I see it. I can pick it up. You can see what's authentic and what do you say just to get by.
It's interesting because Biden runs on a his main pitch is character and trying to be authentic and saying that he wants to run to regain America's moral uh, place. That's not word for word. I
Yeah,
forget the words he uses. He wants to the soul of America. That's what he called. He says the soul of America. So you would think
and
that he would have more of these kinds of things in his arsenal to throw out there and to say, um, this is why I'm running for president. He doesn't have quite enough of that. Maybe. Do you
you have to
think?
look at also. You got to look at also. He had, who did he have? Was it Doug Jones? Who was his prep, his debate prep? Was it Doug Jones?
Um, I'd have to look it up. I watched a little bit of the pre-debate thing, but I didn't get much details.
Now
Sorry.
this is what I see from the outside looking in. There's been a lot of conversation this whole year about race issues,
Hmm.
conflict, divisiveness in our country. Why don't you put people to prep you for that conversation? You have people that's prepping you who are not part of that experience. You see what I'm saying? You're
Yes.
not you're not in that experience. Okay.
I th-
If you're gonna talk about business, put okay, the economy, all those one thing, get somebody who can speak to all those things plus those other areas.
I think that
If you're prepping somebody about these race issues, that was, in my opinion, that was Biden's. He brings up the points, but he can't expand on it because he's
yeah,
not prepared to
he
expand
fails to hit the home run sometimes, I think.
because of this
Um,
preparation. It
I
wasn't.
think in his defense, maybe, and this is just a theory, that they were preparing for some kind of a shit show. Pardon my French, but like the first one was, and so maybe their preparation was, we just want to make sure that we get through it looking okay, and maybe the details, like what you're talking about, it's like, yeah, they could have done that a lot more. Of that I mean, they might not have even, 5 days ago, they might have thought that Trump wouldn't even show up. Who knows?
You know
It's
what?
like it's a crapshoot. They
Just
don't
an
know what they're going to
example.
get. They have no idea
If
when they
somebody
walk in the
had
room.
if somebody had prepped Biden the right way, they would have brought up this plan, that this platinum plan that he has. Why wasn't that in the conversation today?
It was not in the conversation at all.
When she
Nothing.
brought up race, why did what is Biden's plan and what is Trump's plan?
It
So
seems.
that goes back to, like I tell you, about power and control.
I
If you got to remember who's running these debates, the networks,
Yes.
media. Media's power, and media, the narrative is always going to be in the best interest of whoever owns the network and
Hmm.
who is the targeted audience.
Well, supposedly the moderator selected the topics. Supposedly. Now, um, in defense of like why we didn't get a lot of details, is when you only have 2 minutes and then you have to respond to things. That's actually not a lot of time. It
It's the
really
prep
isn't. I
for the
remember,
news.
well, I remember when they used to have entire debates on like foreign policy, for example, and you had
Yeah.
90 minutes of foreign policy, or you had
Mhm.
90 minutes on the economy. Then, then we're going to be able to like get into the details, and then you're going to get into some nuance and subtleties. Then you're going to get into some of the things I think that you're talking about. Well, when you got 2 minutes, what can you say in 2 minutes? How do you answer these big
Prep.
questions and these big problems in 2 minutes?
It's like I said, it's the prep. If you're prepping with someone who can enlighten you,
Hmm.
you should, in my opinion, you should always have a debate prep, a prep partner
Hmm.
who's knowledgeable, more knowledgeable in the area than you are. The reason why I
Well,
say that is because no one
sure.
ex-
Oh, yeah.
we already know each presidential candidate does not know all the areas that he's in charge of. He has people, experts in place. Trump thinks he
Let's
knows.
face it. I mean, let's face it. I mean, you have your shirt on, uh, is a bunch of boxers. They're not going to find, when they were with those boxers were in their primes, you're not going to find a
No, that,
sparring partner. You're not going to find a sparring partner that's going to be equal to that. In a
no, no,
presidential
no.
debate, these two,
But you
let's face it,
let me correct you. Let me correct you.
these two
Let me
candidates are not going to knock any home runs. They're not going to impress people with their speeches. They're just not. I'm sorry. I'm
well,
sorry. But I
this
mean,
is something that, but this is what you're
they are
when you
not
mentioned about
Obama. They're
when you
not even
mentioned,
They're not Clinton. They're not Bill Clinton.
no, they're not great, or they don't articulate
They're
very
not
well.
orators. They're not persuasive people.
But the example with the boxers you gave, we don't expect the boxer that's sparring with the boxer to be better than that boxing champion. But what they usually do, they bring in the best sparring partner with the skill set of the person that guy's going against. So if
Yeah,
that
but you're not
boxer,
going to find a Manny Pacquiao to spar against. You're not going to
well, what do
find a
you
Mike
think? What do you
Tyson.
think these boxers came from? Most of them were sparring partners at one time.
Yeah.
That's how they develop. But what I'm saying is, you bring in the skill set. So
Okay.
that's what I was saying. So if Biden had prepped better with people, and he can't have a person just as old as you prepping on these topics. You just can't. You got to have somebody that's going to be innovative in their approach. Both of these people did exactly what you knew they were going to do. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Pretty much. Pretty
When
much.
you're innovative, you do what's different. When you're innovative, you come from a different angle. Youth, look at our youth, man.
Biden. I
Look at
mean,
the thing with our
not to
youth
pick
do.
on Biden, but Biden is not going to come in on a different
Oh,
angle about anything. Biden is a consensus candidate. Biden is someone this is my opinion. Biden is a guy that everyone on the left, on the Democratic progressive side, the people who didn't like Trump, this is someone that everyone could agree on. Okay,
no, I'm not
this
debating that.
this
That's
wasn't
not what I'm
somebody
saying.
that was on number one on people's list. I don't think. You say, well, okay, he's like three out of the 10 that we had, so
Mhm.
most people can agree on him. So that's how he became the nominee. Let's face it.
Right. But do you man, what's wrong with my mouse, man? The thing about what I'm saying is that I'm not saying Biden needs to come in with a different character or anything. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that when I say come in with a different angle, the the answers that you give, the questions that you
Okay,
rebuttal with don't come back with the questions that anybody would give. It's the prep. It's the prep to catch the next man off guard. I could come up with questions that'll catch Trump off guard. You know what I'm saying? We just had conversation about these type of things. We just talked about it. Why aren't they
uh,
talking about these things?
I think the bar is low. I think the bar is low.
Yeah, but man, it's got to be better than that. I mean, it got to be better than this, man. And it goes back to age. It goes back to prep. It goes back to your circle. Now, I'm not saying Biden has not diversified his peer circle. I'm not saying that at all. I know he has, but it comes down also who is preparing you for the next step.
Hmm.
And we know Trump is going to be Trump. I think he's going to.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think.
I'm not saying
I
that
think.
he is not going. He has showed his cards, and
Yeah,
he's not going to be any different. If
I
anything, he's
think
going to
that
be
first
more of the same,
in the
much more of the
beginning.
same.
In the beginning, he's going to try to be that unifying person. It's only going to
I
last for
just
a
don't
short
see
period
it.
of time. It's going to last for a short period of time. Then he's going to go back to his old ways. He can't help himself. But I think because he can't afford to be as divisive as he's been these last 6 months, he can't afford it. He can't afford it. Even if he wins the presidency, he can't afford it. He's not
Hmm.
going to get anything done. He's going to lose all those. Because what is the next? When is the next midterm election?
22
It's
every 2
22.
years. hmm Every two
Okay,
years.
think about
I mean,
this. Think
that's
about this. If he if he blows it that first year,
hmm
they're gonna we
they're
right
going to lose the
now.
House. They're going to
But
lose the
right
Senate
now,
this year, I
but they
think.
could they could lose it this election.
I'm sorry.
It's
Wait, the
not,
Democrats have the House. It's late. The Democrats already have
it's
the
late.
House.
They
I
could
think they're
lose the
going to.
Senate.
I think that the Republicans are going to lose the Senate as well. I think.
They could lose
I
it
think that
this
might be a more
election.
interesting race than the presidency, honestly.
Well, it is. I mean, think about North Carolina can change it by just that one state. Did you
hmm
know that? North
Yes.
Carolina can change it in that one state. So you have several senators that are fighting for these seats. But if they lose that, if the Republicans win the Senate and Trump blows it his first year,
hmm
he's going to have trouble after that because the Senate's going to be Democrat and the House. It's going to be hard.
I just don't know if he cares. I
Really,
guess I'm a pessimist with him.
he cares about
there's
image.
nothing that he has shown me that gives me hope if he's reelected.
he has no reason to fight anymore if he wins the election. If he wins again, he's like, I won. You know,
Exactly. That
but
he'll have free
but his
reign.
but what bothers him more than being president is the fact of who doesn't like him. The more bad dirt on him, the worse he freaks out. So that's why I think he's going to try to clean some stuff up in the first couple of months. I don't think it's
Okay.
going to last. I don't think it's going to last at all. Somebody said, "Are you guys Republican or Democrat?" Hey Max, I've voted on both sides of the aisle before, but this past election, I just voted for Biden. I voted for Hillary last time. Let me keep going back. I voted for Obama the year before that, the election before that. I voted for Obama twice actually, but before Obama, I voted for George Bush. Why did I vote for George Bush? Because I couldn't stand John Kerry. I thought he was weak.
Really?
Before that,
Okay.
yeah, I did. I thought Kerry was weak. Before that, I voted for Gore. So let me
I'm
keep going.
basically
I can keep
I'm
going if you
basically
want.
a Democrat, so the only time I voted um, Republican was in a primary,
Mm-hmm.
um, and so that was in 16, and I voted for our Ohio governor, um, Kasich,
Mm-hmm.
uh, as a Trump protest vote. So that's my answer. I voted almost all in as far as presidential elections, uh, all Democrat. I think going back to 1988, going back to Michael
Yeah.
Dukakis. Um, so I was not a Bush fan at all. I voted
Yeah.
for Gore. I voted for Kerry. I actually liked Kerry. I thought he was
I
a good
wasn't a
candidate.
don't get me wrong, man. I wasn't a fan. I was not a fan.
Um, I voted for Obama both times. So I'm basically a Democrat.
Okay.
I mean, I know I picked on Biden a lot, but what I want to do, what I do think that gives me hope about Biden. I think that he will rely on his team of people, the people around him, the people that his cabinet, the people that are giving him advice,
I agree.
um,
I agree.
more than most presidents,
I think
and
that's what hurts Trump. He's
I
not
think
going to
that
rely on
I
his
think
people.
I think that's a good thing. So
Yeah. I don't think Trump is going to rely on his people. That's been his whole downfall. His whole election, this whole presidential campaign was that his administration he did not depend on his people. Um,
well,
so
you mentioned
like,
Trump's people. I just want to make this point. You mentioned Trump's people like that, and I'm not sure what Trump's people are going to be because he's had a revolving door. I
okay,
think
what do you think
if
about
he
this?
gets a second term, there's going to be new people. I don't know what that's going to be like. He has no platform. The Republican Party has no platform, no official platform. It's whatever Trump wants to do. That's their stated platform. Okay,
But
this
they haven't done
summer.
anything yet. Yeah, I mean it's been
And
like that. It's
I
like
I think that if he does get a second term, he's going to clean house. He's going to start over, and he's going to do whatever he wants to do.
if he starts, he needs to start over, man. That's why I said he's going to try to make a change. He needs to start over because the people he got in there suck. They're garbage. He put nobody. There's nobody in position that knows the job. He has no experts in the position. Is what I'm saying. And like Max said, he picked him because of pro-life stance. If
Right.
that's the only reason, the thing about it, do you know what sucks about that comment? The pro-life stance. Let me just tell you what sucks about that. 90% of the 98% of the people in the country are pro-life. Pro-life is not just abortion.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's
Thank you.
what's so stupid about the comment. It's like that's like ridiculous. I'm pro-life. I am not for abortion. Me
Yes.
personally. Me
I'm
personally,
not personally for abortion either.
I'm not for abortion. But I look at the overall policy thing and what these people stand for. If you really think Trump is all that worried about pro-life, you're fooling yourself. He can care less.
I don't think he doesn't care. He
He
doesn't care.
doesn't.
He holds
And
the
that's
Bible
the
upside down in front of the
Republican Party says
church.
that all the time. Um, he says, I mean abortion. Sorry. No, it wasn't no confusion, Max. We knew what you meant. We
I know
both
what he meant. Yeah.
when they
I know
say
what you mean.
pro-life,
I know what you
it's
mean.
about abortion. We know that. But that's what's so weak about that comment. If you're pro-life, you're going to be pro-life about everything that's pro-life. You're going to be pro-life about the social injustice that's going on. You're going to be pro-life about prison reform. You're going to be pro-life about so many things. and it's not just abortion.
Here,
That
put up that third comment by Max. The super childish comment.
which
No,
one? I think that Biden pushed it through, so I don't think
Trump is
he.
super childish, but he gets a lot of his campaign promises done. I disagree with that.
What?
He stated tonight that what was the number one
400
campaign
miles of
promise in
wall. He said
2016?
400 miles of wall. That's not. You don't have 400 miles of wall up.
That was a downright lie.
That was
400
a
miles of
lie.
wall would
He
be
doesn't.
like a third of the Mexican border.
It doesn't
I,
have
I
that
I
much
think
up.
it's half of the Mexican border, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, a
So
little bit in
that's
Arizona, a little bit.
false. That's
Yeah.
downright false. So what promises is he getting done exactly? What was the promise that he
Okay.
got done? That
This is what
Mexico
I
would
got
pay
here, man.
for it?
This is what I have here. You still see me on camera?
I see you, yeah.
You still see me? Okay, because I'm looking at a page. It says in September 2019, the Trump said he planned to build 450 to 500 miles of wall. Of the new wall by the end of 2020. By October 19, 2020, 371 miles had been built, and the bulk of it is being a replacement of existing outdated or duplicate or I can't even say the word, debilitated barriers. So how much did he actually build? We still don't know because 371 of it has been rebuilding walls that were already there. So, Max, I just wanted to just give you that
Trump beat
information.
ISIS. That was his main promise. I don't remember that being his main promise. I barely remember in 2016 Trump mentioning ISIS.
And
He likes to take credit for it.
that's fake
He
news,
will take
Max.
credit for whatever goes well. He's going to take credit for whatever goes well.
I'm going to bring this back up so Max can see it. I want him to see this. This is true. This is fact checked. I want you to know this is fact checked. Don't play with me. Okay, I just put it in the comments there in the chat because this is the truth right here. This is the truth. There's no new wall that he's built, and the big thing about it was Mexico was supposed to pay for it. We're paying for this wall, Max. You and I are paying for this wall. I don't know how old you are, but you're going to be paying for a while, and your kids may be paying for it on the later on. But
Of a wall that doesn't
it's just extra money to go
a rebuilt
build
wall,
a
I
wall
guess.
that was already there. So when it come down to policy, what's been promised, the only thing he promised that he did the tax cut, and it still didn't help us. I don't know if Max is in that 500,000 a year range. If you're not Max, you didn't get that much of a help from that tax cut. Promise you.
So what else? What
He
else
said,
we got?
I paid tax. I'm okay with the rebuild wall. Did you get a tax cut, bro? Did it help you out? Because like if you look at that 1%, those big companies and CEOs, I know CEOs who made $13 million. Some made $30 million from the tax cut. $30 million. Can you imagine a $30 million bonus? You don't even own the company. You just somebody's in
You're a
charge.
CEO.
A
Mhm.
CEO.
I think
30 million in
I think the
bonus.
one thing that Trump has exposed, and this is something that should be a bigger issue, is this whole wealth imbalance in this country between the ultra rich and everyone else.
Yeah.
They play by their own rules. You think it's coincidence that Trump has a secret, so-called? He said it wasn't secret tonight. If it is or not, that he has some sort of bank account in China, or that he's doing a Deutsche Bank thing,
He
or
said
whatever it
diplomacy.
is, or that he only
So
paid $750 in taxes, or he prepaid tens of millions of dollars in taxes, whatever it is. You and I, and anyone listening to this, those rules don't apply to us. We can't just sort of like loophole our way out of things to that degree. It's
right.
ridiculous. It's fixed.
My thing is, we're like, I'm looking up now. He said he got rid of that bank account in China in 2015. I'm looking up now. I don't see anything that shows that. It shows that he still has it, from what I understand.
I mean, that's what he said.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So you know if it's truth or not. But the bank account is held by Trump International Hotels Management LLC and paid $188,000 $561 in taxes in China from 2013 to 2015. So that's from Fox News. So they said it. That's how they
Oh,
said
must
it.
be right.
No, I didn't say that. I'm just saying that's what they put. But I don't see anything that gives you accurate. That's the only thing that shows any dates is from Fox News. And that's the same thing he quoted. Now, check this one out. Trump sold a penthouse in one of his buildings for $15.8 million to a Chinese American businesswoman in China who runs an international consulting firm and reportedly has high level connections to government and political elites in China. I think she was the one that something was with her at Mar-a-Lago. Didn't something go on with her in Mar-a-Lago? This lady who was well connected with Chinese business people.
I don't
You
know.
remember something like that last year? One it was somebody that was at
I don't remember that.
Mar-a-Lago and they was investigating her for something, or it was a Chinese
So,
woman.
what was all this stuff about Biden's brothers and this and that that he
Well,
just kind of threw over, that he just sort of threw out there? Trump just
well,
sort of
they didn't
threw
talk about
threw it
his
about
brothers.
Biden's brothers, and I mean we know about
Well,
his sons, but
I don't know too much about his brother, but the same, like I said, the sons. I don't know if they're all connected together with this business thing, but um, again, Trump never expand on that. He throws names out there to get you looking and get you look. I never knew anything about Biden's brother. Let me look it up now, man. What did Biden's brother do?
I apparently new information came to light regarding his son. What was that? Who knows? He just
So,
throws stuff out there. Um,
so they say his family cashed in. What did they cash in on? So that's what I'm saying. It's like you throw these stories out there.
there's little specifics out of all this stuff.
Yeah. Her brother's name is James. Purchased, okay, in late summer of 2006, Joe Biden's son Hunter and Joe's younger brother James purchased the firm. It was called Paradigm Global
Hmm.
Advisors.
Okay.
I don't know too much about them or anything. But on their first day on the job, they showed up with Joe's other son, Bo, and the two large men ordered the hedge fund's chief of compliance, to fire its president, according to Paradigm executive who was president. So they went in and fired the guy that was running the place, I guess.
Well,
I mean,
he threw out something about 3.5 million from Putin, from Russia, that
yeah,
Biden profited about. I'm not sure what that's about either. Um,
yeah,
he
well,
said that Biden wants to get rid of Social Security and Medicare. I don't know what
yeah.
he's basing that out of. Just sort of a blanket statement about things. Um,
Now this is funny. I just got this text message. I got an inbox message. See, I'm friends with everybody. Um, I don't think friendship should be divided because of a party. And this woman just gave me this nice text that I wanted to say recently asked me to be your friend here on Facebook. Much appreciated. I am conservative. I'm happy with Trump. I do have to say I enjoy your posts and your live that I listen to shortly. You, sir, are a very respectful man. I love how you listen and make educated choices for yourself and not just because of your party. Keep educating no matter which way you sway. That is the most awesome thing about being different, respecting others' opinion. And I thought that
that's a
I,
good
I started,
message.
it
That's a
is.
good
I started
message.
reading that and I thought it was kind of I thought she was taking a jab at me, but I apologize for me jumping to conclusions. But Leslie, I appreciate your comment. And I want to let you know also that I don't stick with a party. I don't claim a party. I'm not even claim myself a Democrat. I
Would you
vote
say
for
would you say that you stick with issues?
I stick with issues and I vote for my best interest for me and my family moving forward. Um, so I'm thankful that people do respect me when I'm on the air like this and respect my comments. But I don't claim a party.
Hmm.
I don't. I'm never going to be that guy because It's some things about the Republican Party that I like, and there's things about the Democratic Party that I like.
Okay.
And that's what makes it so bad that these two are what we have. Why can't I'm waiting for that next
So
independent to come out that sits in the middle but has all the right pieces.
okay.
I'm all there for that guy. Yeah.
So thanks for being with us, Max. Thanks for joining in our conversation. He
Yeah,
said he had to
definitely.
go. Here's a question um before we sign off. Is climate change. Not to go back to that, but my question is: Trump immediately went to like all the things that he's doing, all the things that he's done, all the things that's good about the environment now, except that he doesn't believe in climate change. So why does all that matter? He wants to have it both ways. He always
Yeah.
wants to. He always wants to play both sides. He's he. But you can't do that.
Yeah. I'm listening to you. I'm just typing this lady back. Apologize.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
So that's. I think I said all I wanted to say about our debate here tonight.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be
Is there other things
interesting.
you have to say?
I don't think voting will ever be the same again.
How so?
And I want people to
Is
go
that your
out.
comment or somebody else made that
No, that's
comment?
my comment. I
Voting
want
won't be the same again because of mail-in ballots and all that stuff, or
no, it's just people this past election, starting with the Hillary election, but now with this current election, people are so turned off. They're forcing themselves to make a vote. People aren't voting because they just want to vote and it's their right. People have divided relationships and families over
yes,
voting.
yep.
And I don't know if we're ever going to come back to our old normal. The flip side of that is over the last 4 years, I think America has woken up. The American citizens have woken up to all the secrecy and the hidden things that we always heard about in politics. We see it's all coming out now
Give me
on
an
so many.
examples.
Well, just like I said, the thing with Trump trying to convince the Ukrainian president to turn on Biden and his son.
Okay, so
Now
this
you
sort
got
of like
Biden.
shady phone calls, backroom deals,
Well,
and
all that's the backroom deals. Watching how Attorney General Barr, how his actions are in fighting for the president and not fighting for justice in America. The
hmm,
whole thing with the coronavirus, the back and forth of what's good and what's not good with the virus, how we should protect ourselves and how we shouldn't. It's so many things that we didn't see. Well, I'm not gonna say we didn't see. Many people didn't see because they just voted.
okay.
They didn't, you voted on policy, but you didn't really stay in tune with all the bicker behind the scenes, the House and the Senate back and forth, the jabs that they're taking each other behind the scenes. All the social media brings this stuff out now. We didn't see all that before.
I think that's true. I think that's
So
true.
it changes how we look at politics. You're
I think
looking at it from a you're looking at it from a personal standpoint of what your feelings are, not what's right for you as an individual. You're going by how
hmm.
you feel about a person. Like the one lady said, again, she gave a great comment, but she was saying, I am conservative and I'm happy with Trump. Okay, you're happy with him, and I'm not saying that she's not happy. When people say they're happy with a candidate, what is it that makes you happy about the candidate? My personal opinion, I think a lot of men, especially males, stuck with Trump because he was saying the things that they couldn't say out loud. It's things that you felt inside, but you
I
couldn't
agree.
say.
I agree.
You couldn't say them because it was been considered wrong.
I mean,
It was
a lot of people have said that in the past. A lot of people have said, "Well, um, we elected him, and we elected this flawed person and this person that has said all these things that have been, uh, pretty wrong." And so, what does that say about us? So, yeah,
I don't
here
agree
we
with that.
are. Here we are.
I don't
You don't
agree with
agree
that.
with that?
No, because you say you picked them because whatever their reasons are. But then the because what did you just say? You said they picked them because of what?
I didn't say they picked him because of anything. I'm just saying that what does it say about us that we picked someone like Trump? That's what I'm
But
saying.
you were saying that people understand that he's flawed, but they picked him anyway. My
No,
my
that's not what I said.
okay.
I think that's true. I think that's true. I think a lot of people do that because they look at one side or the other and they say, "Well, I know that I hate what he tweets. I don't like the way he treats people, but on policy and on taxes or whatever it is, I agree with Republicans, and so I'm going to vote for him. Doesn't matter. Doesn't
How do
matter
you
who
pick
he
your
is.
friends though? Who do you know would have a friend like Trump? Nobody.
Nobody I know.
That's what I'm saying. Even if you know a Republican supporter right now, we all know Trump supporters. None of them will trust a person like Trump in their life. Nobody.
Okay,
So why do you trust him as president?
that's a great question. I don't know. I
That's what
don't. That's why I can't vote for him.
I've asked that question before, and people can't answer it. No one I know that is a Trump supporter would have a friend like Trump or trust a friend like Trump. Nobody that I knows. Now, you could put somebody, I give you, even if you could take all the conspiracy theories about Obama, all the things that Trump supporters say about Obama, all the stuff they say about him, all the dirty stuff he's done, all the crookedness he's done. Without knowing
It
that,
wasn't
and
that
your
much,
friend,
but yeah.
without, I'm just saying, this is what they say.
What,
I'm
that
not
he
saying
was born in Kenya? What else is there?
no, I'm talking about all the crooked stuff they say he did with foreign policy and his deals with China himself, Russian
It's like a
stuff.
little teacup compared to what they said about Hillary, though.
But if he did these things that he say he did, and you didn't know this, you didn't know these things happen, you would be friends with Obama.
Yes.
You would be friends with Obama's own character. And we've all met people of good character that end up being snakes. But Trump is going to be who he is by character. And if you didn't know any of the dirt he did, you're not going to like the guy just because of the way he acts. That's my bottom line.
That's your bottom line? Okay.
Like I said, you tell me somebody who would have a friend like Trump. Who would trust that guy?
No.
The American
Nobody
banks
I know.
Nobody in the banking system trusts him. Says a lot, man.
They won't give him a loan?
Anyway, man, I'm getting.
They won't bail him out?
I was eating ice cream and melted.
It's a soup? You got soup for ice cream now?
Yeah, I had some leftover cake from my birthday, man. So I threw some ice cream on top of it.
So you didn't get to eat it all before the conversation happened, or?
Yeah, I was eating it and I said, "Oh, I gotta get on the line with Darrin." I was eating it.
That was your debate snack. I had popcorn. I actually had popcorn.
Did you really?
You believe that? Yeah.
Wow.
Like right at the beginning.
It's always a good. It's always the good treat to have during a comedy show, you know. So, man, that's it tonight, man. I'm about to roll, about to get in this bed.
Yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired. I don't know if I have a bottom line. I guess my bottom line would be if your bottom line was about Trump, I guess my bottom line would be about Biden. I think that my bottom line about him is that if he is elected, I think you're going to see kind of sort of a more of a collaborative White House, I guess. I hope. You know, I don't think you're going to see some sort of like dominating personality like you see with Trump. I think you're going to see a completely different kind of White House style. I think, I think that people are going to vote for him because it's just going to be a break. I think he's going to win. I think people are going to vote for him because they want sort of a more normalcy. They want more boring. But then after about 4 months or so, you're going to get a lot of people that are going to be like going to disagree with him, and then his numbers will go south. Yeah. I think they'll go below 50%.
He have people in his corner though that'll help him pull that back up. I think he has some good people in his corner, man. He has some good people on Congress.
He does. He does.
If you get some of these Senate seats, it'll be great also. So.
The reason why I say that is because it's going to go back to policy over personality. Right now, it's like you said, people are voting for how they feel and what they feel about the candidates. Yeah. Don't you think?
I do.
Is that what you said? People are
Yeah.
voting on how they feel about the candidates over what they say or do
I
or
mean, it's
what their
all about
policy
everything.
is.
Everything is emotion.
Well, what they say, I guess,
I mean, the
is part of it.
policies
But
are emotion. COVID is emotion. Racism is emotion. The police reform, police brutality, all that is about emotion.
mhm.
We mentioned this last Saturday on the show. When you change policy, that's when things happen. You have to change laws, put things in place to make change. Right now, we get all riled up over some things and little, what do you call them? Check marks happen. You give a check mark, but it doesn't really change anything. I mean, changing real things in our lives. So
Hey, we should talk sometime about how much the president can change things like police policies.
yeah,
I question
I'm
that.
gonna
How
I'm gonna
how
brief.
how does the president change what goes on in local police departments exactly? Because I'm not sure how exactly. It's not a direct line.
No, it's not like Obama had to bring in those those independent investigators. Remember,
Yeah. I
he
mean, you
had to
could
do
pull
that.
people in and have a forum and try to like, you could talk about federal funds and this and that and training, but
True.
the policy is going to have to change at local levels. Going
Well,
to have to
first you
change
got
on the
to admit,
streets.
but first you got to admit what the problems are. If you're not going to admit what the problems are, there's no need to even talk about policy change. How can you change a policy
Well,
if you're
that's
not going
true.
to
Of course,
if
yeah.
the problem's not out there? What
Right.
are you changing? So I want to thank everybody for coming out, but also Darren, let's let them know that this Saturday we're going to be having our show Saturday morning, 8 a.m. East Central Time and 9 a.m. Eastern Time. We're going to have mental health experts talking to you Facebook, you YouTube, about how you can navigate life during COVID and post COVID, because actually it's more about the navigating life with all the chaos that's going on around it with the current climate of our country. COVID
Hmm.
is just one
Hmm.
of them. So we have some special guests. Right now, we have three mental health experts coming on from different areas of the field. One of them I know is a owner of her own company in Akron, Ohio. I'm not gonna give any names out just yet because I don't have them written down in front of me.
They
But
are
it's gonna be
confirmed,
great.
though. We have
They
confirmed
are
guests.
confirmed. They
We
are
do have
confirmed.
guests.
Yes, and if you are a mental health expert out there and you want to join our show, please check us out this Saturday. We would love to have you.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Thank you for the support of the show, everyone. We'll see you on Saturday morning.
Yeah. Hey, Darren. We're gonna text about next Saturday because I'm about to go to bed.
That sounds great to me.
Okay. Take care, man. God
Bye.
bless.